What's up everyone? In today's video, I wanted to make another sit down style video to talk about something that I've kind of been struggling with lately and how I am making my way through it with the hopes to potentially help you or someone else who might be able to resonate. So just a quick disclaimer before I get started. I'm not a therapist or a doctor. I am just speaking solely off of my experiences and my own opinions. So as someone who has battled an eating disorder since I was 13 years old, I still experience a lot of feelings and thoughts surrounding food and my body. I think it's really important to note that recovery really is not linear, nor will it really ever be. I really am so grateful for the sport and running. It has held me accountable and it's kind of switched my mindset to view food as fuel. You know, fuel for all of the miles that I'm running, all of the strength training I am doing, fuel for the recovery, and also fuel just for long-term health and happiness. Diving in a little bit more specifically now, obviously a big part that comes with training is food. This is the food that surrounds your workout, pre-workout, post-workout, but it also includes the food that might be involved during your workout. And this is honestly where I'm kind of hitting that mental wall lately. I've personally never had to worry about intra-workout fueling since my runs were never long or far enough. But now that my workouts are getting longer, my runs are getting longer, and I'm focusing more on longer distances, fueling during my runs and during my workouts is becoming essential. That's not to mention how beneficial fueling during your workouts and your runs can actually be for your energy level, for hydration, for recovery, and everything more. Anyway, clearly with more fueling comes more food and more calories, especially food that are specific to running, and a lot of that, like the gels and the simple kind of foods, are more like simple carbs and simple sugars. I do want to note that I do not count calories, I do not count macros, I never have. Just for me personally, I know that that's not going to be sustainable or healthy, especially at this point with my relationship with my food and my body and my relationship with running as well. You know, I've made a video about this before, but I eat intuitively and I preach that and I practice that, and that's what I hold myself accountable to. But since I'm starting to focus on intra-workout fueling, and that comes with more carbs and a little bit more sugars, I can't help but notice that voice inside my head telling me that I need to cut back then on the carbs that come before and after my workout. I also hear the voice inside my head that's telling me to risk that long run and that maybe I could survive 18 miles without fueling, or maybe I can make it through that workout without those extra calories. All of this extra fuel that solely just helps me as a person and an athlete, it scares the shit out of my eating disorder. My eating disorder would rather me, you know, shed a few pounds than be able to power through and feel strong all the way up to the end of a run or a workout. My eating disorder would rather me look like a distance runner than be able to recover from tough workouts and high mileage. My eating disorder would rather put me at risk for injury, burnout, losing my period, then see me train happy and healthy, enjoy my runs, and be fucking happy. But you know what? I am strong enough now and I am wise enough now to not give in to any of those voices that are in my head constantly telling me not to fuel for my runs. I have worked way too hard throughout all of my recovery, my eating disorder, and throughout all of my training to unspiral now and to give in now. So how do I fight those nagging voices? Well, first I remind myself over and over again that food is literally a primary source of energy, not only for runners, but for people. And like that being said, like how awesome is that food is a primary source and different foods can have a direct impact on how you feel and how you perform. And I just think it's nutrition and diet, you know, dietetics is incredibly fascinating. Just like how awesome that we get to use such a delicious and diverse thing to put into our bodies, so then we can have, you know, great energy to put outward. Something else that I like to keep in mind, and this is relatively new, like past year or so, is to think of my body as my best friend. My body doesn't want me to be mad at it or hate it or disrespect it. My body doesn't want to make me feel unworthy. My body, although sometimes it doesn't really seem like it, my body wants me to thrive. My body wants me to be healthy and happy. My body fights with me against all of those eating disorder thoughts and desires. You know, your body like actually sends you signals when you aren't feeling enough. Your body communicates with you, and I think that that's how you gotta look at it. Your body is your best friend who is working with you against all of these eating disorder, irrational thoughts. And also your body sends you cues, you know, when you aren't feeling enough. That's what hunger is for, right? You feel hungry when you haven't eaten enough. Or your body, you know, takes away your period when you are underfueling as a female. Huge sign that you could be underfueling. Or another example, you bonk at the end of a long run, and most likely that is due because of a lack of fueling. Your body is sending you those signals to try to help you work through it. And then your body has a ton of energy and you feel great and you feel strong when you have fuel properly. That's another signal your body is telling you, like, okay, you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track. So we need to be our body's best friend too, through thick and thin, through all the frustrations, through the bloating, through everything. We need to be best friends with our body in order to optimize our health, our happiness, and for the terms of this video, our training and our running. So there are some helpful resources, especially on Instagram, that I love to follow that have really helped me. So 3 dietitians that I follow, and they're all kind of in the running world as well. I'll link their Instagrams down below, but Starla Garcia, Lauren Ross, and Anna Turner. I highly recommend just giving their accounts a follow just in general. And I know Starla has a Facebook page. I'll also link down some of my favorite podcasts with them. They're just very knowledgeable and wise, and their information is really great to know. Also for me, just generally leaning on the people in my support system has been really helpful, and a lot of my running friends. There are a lot of people that are willing to help you navigate through dark times. And that being said, I want to serve as a safe space for you if you're struggling. So never hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram. I think it's super important to be able to acknowledge the eating disorder thoughts and then act on healthy ways to silence them. I think that's probably one of the toughest, underrated, but most rewarding parts of recovery. To be able to really take a step back and acknowledge those eating disorder thoughts, but then not act on them. So while it can be stressful for me to think about fueling during my runs, I know that at the end of the day, longevity and sustainability with the sport and my relationship with the sport is one of my biggest goals. I also know that I physically will not be able to perform to my top potential or be able to optimize my body's strength and optimize my training if I'm not fueling properly around the clock, which includes during my workouts. That's motivation within itself to keep fighting those eating disorder thoughts and keep listening to what my body really needs. So I'm not sure if this video was helpful to you or to someone else, but the thought that maybe the slightest bit it could resonate with one person makes it worth it. And also just remember all of the things that your body does for you each and every day. Like the little things, like being able to walk up and down the stairs or get out of bed with energy. Think of that and treat your body with respect and treat it like it is your best damn friend. All right, so I hope this wasn't too pointless or boring. Sometimes talking about it just can really help, and the reassurance that I give myself and reminding myself that I have the strength to fight these eating disorder thoughts, I hope that reminds you that you also have the strength to work through any, mental struggles that you might be having, eating disorder or not. And then also just a reminder to all runners out there why fueling your body is super important for your running, your training, and for your long-term health and happiness. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I would love for you to click that like button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in my next video, but until then, as always, happy running.